Hello, people. This is Smacked Up Wrestling. Will's possibly dead. We don't know. I'm Martin. I'm your host, technically, because the other two were petrified. And we're joined by SupRisingStorm himself, Flo, our new world undisputed champion of predicting things.
Hello.
Apparently made his balls drop too. And of course, as ever, heard that he really hates the Bullet Club, Kirsty.
Don't start me. I've not had coffee yet.
Oh, it's coffee she needs now. So, how are we doing today, guys?
No bad, no bad.
And
Well, better than Will, who got the flu
Yes.
and can't speak today.
literally cannot talk. And so unless you guys want to get all turned on by Will's saucy voice, which no one can handle, is quite frankly too sexual.
Far too sexual.
Far too sexual. We'll just crack on and talk about the wrestling,
Wrestling.
because a lot happened this week.
A lot.
Um, You guys probably, if you had any sense of decency, listened into us doing live coverage of TLC, which I lasted for about half of before the sheer amount of pish that was the undercard drowned me. At
Mhm.
the time the cruiserweights began.
Should have stayed. Dude. Like, that AJ
I was quite
match,
happy sleeping.
That AJ match, oh my god.
Oh, I've seen it, don't you worry.
I know, but like, there's something about watching wrestling live.
Of course.
Like, when that match is happening, that was something special.
It was
Really.
cracking.
Of course, it was special.
Yeah,
No
and
other
that
way.
was the very first time they've went up against each other, and for the very first match between two people, I thought it was tremendous. The only thing I want to see out of this is more of those two going at it, because it will get better every time.
And that's the thing, you've got to think of the fact that AJ had just got off like a 17-hour flight and had the flu.
18 hours, don't undersell it. Don't undersell it. So, 18 hours.
Got a little time to actually plan
Had
anything.
the flu, barely had a break getting to the arena.
Probably just literally showed up and they might have called some spots, but I don't know how much time they would have actually been able to get in the ring together.
Lucky
Mhm.
if they had a quick run through before the show was due to open.
So that's what I'm saying, like, it's incredible. Like,
Well, I mean,
it's a great match anyway, but
it's
when you
not a
factor in
coincidence that
no.
probably the best non-British championship related match in WWE this year was called on the fly and not,
Yep.
rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed.
Some people say it was match of the year. I can't agree with that because that's still
It's a
Tyler.
contender.
It's
That's-
up there.
But it's still for me.
Tyler
it's
Bate and
Ty-
Pete
Tyler
Dunne, of
Bate
course.
versus Pete Dunne. That's nothing has topped that match yet.
I agree. Completely agree.
Fair, when whoever's deciding what match of the year is, like, these matches will be, right, these are our 10, let's narrow it down to
Mhm.
what the very best match was, and maybe a couple under it, ye shout outs to, but it's definitely up there.
It'll
Especially
probably
in
get it
WWE.
just in terms of star power.
So good.
It was
and
great.
And then WWE decided to punish Finn for getting back here again.
What was the deal with that?
I
Now,
don't
on Raw,
fucking
folks,
know.
for those who haven't seen, Finn came out to wrestle Kane and was pretty much squashed. He got a little bit of offence in, but
But
very
it was
little.
basically a squash. It was a 5-minute squash.
It was.
The only thing
And-
I can think of is that as long as Bray is still out of commission, and that Finn is going to feud
maybe.
with Kane as a replacement.
No, I think Kane's going to feud with Strowman. And this,
Aye.
like, the thing that I was taking it
Yeah,
as
but
is,
for that, Strowman has first have to come back after that
Well,
dumpster travel.
We gave a shout out to Michael Cole, who said that I think this is the quote.
the only good call he ever made.
No, this was awful. He said that that Braun had been crushed
Aye.
inside the garbage truck, so he might be out for a few weeks.
He actually made a good call just prior to that when Kane put Strowman through the stage. And he just asked the simple question that surprisingly no one has actually asked Kane, despite the fact he set a man on fire. He electrified his boss's son's balls.
Which, right,
And he humped a corpse allegedly. And that question was, what is wrong with you?
And finally, after nearly 20 years, somebody stopped and went, Ken, what's your deal, bruh?
What is your problem?
But
Now-
he made me out a few weeks. I was
Well,
like,
the thing I
Michael,
was going to say was, I understand wanting to push Kane, right? They're making him out to be a super monster. It's probably his last run. That's fine by me. But I don't for 1 second believe that Finn had to be the guy to put him over like that.
and that's the
Yeah.
thing, is they just came out and battered the Shield 2 seconds before it. Like,
Aye.
why not bring out Kurt Hawkins? Kurt Hawkins' whole deal is that he lost
He's the jobber.
trying no. Aye, there's another 30 guys in that locker room that didn't have that momentum coming out.
Aye.
And apparently that 2 Sweet was just Finn and AJ being like, remember where we came from? And I genuinely think that's
That was
why
cool.
it was amazing, but I don't think Vince was happy. And I think that's why he's
Maybe.
getting Finn.
But, and then, of course, he's not going to touch AJ because AJ saved his fucking show.
Aye, AJ's basically at the moment just carrying the whole undercard of
That's
SmackDown.
insane,
so-
isn't it?
Yep.
And
Um,
like he's the one that they'll fly out when people aren't there, so he's not going to punish AJ. He doesn't want to risk losing because AJ knows he can go anywhere and be a top guy.
Aye.
He's not
I
going to
just-
risk that.
As I say, I don't understand why Finn had to be. I understand
Yeah.
pushing Kane, I accept it. But there was no reason for Finn to be the guy
Mm-mm.
to take the squash.
I'm
You have-
happy.
You make a big
Even-
deal out your roster.
See when
you know.
Kane came out and hit that promo, and I was like, "Oh, Kane's actually getting like a proper."
Oh, he's into it as
I
well.
was-
Like, he's right up for this because he knows it's probably his last time.
And Braun could really do with having Kane
Oh,
teaching him how to
he's-
be.
well, we discussed this earlier
Aye,
this year when we
we
seen
did.
Baron's improvement.
We say
and we were-
Mhm.
You know, we did say it would be great to see Taker or Kane do the same for Strowman. So it's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's giving Strowman that finishing touch.
Aye, and like I love the idea of this. Like, I'm really up for Kane
Aye.
versus Braun. It's just going to be two massive men killing each other every
Which
week.
is
It's gonna
just
be
really
great.
what wrestling should be about. I mean, this era of vanilla midgets is disgusting. I'm making up for Will's absence.
I see. 'Cause I don't even believe it when it comes out of your mouth, though. I'm like,
Oh, that's because you shouldn't. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. My favourite kind of match is like Stan Hansen and somebody of equal size, like the match he had with Vader, where he punched Vader so hard Vader's eye came out.
Oh,
Legit.
don't remind me.
No, what I mean is, when I watch wrestling, I want to see two big bastards kick the absolute shit out of each other, and that's what this is.
aye, this is what this is going to be. I've no issue with Kane squashing somebody apart.
Aye,
from
but it
should
didn't
not
need
have
to
been
be Finn.
Fins.
Fins.
It did not need to be Finn, Vin. Apostrophe.
I briefly mentioned this to you at the start of the week. Kurt Angle, right?
Mhm.
Great match. Wonderful to see him in the ring again.
Very protected.
He was so well protected, it could have been a match at his prime. It really did make him look that good.
Do you know the only problem I've got with that is Seth and Dean are at the top of the stairs looking as if they're ready to fuck,
Aye.
and he comes out and
Well-
puts his horns up like a dad that's really excited to go trick or treating with
Actually
Wayne.
seen one of the people on Twitter was saying your dad's at the front in riot gear hitting people with ladders, have a word.
Aye, like,
Hey,
he
what
just
you
came out with
doing
this
here?
massive grin on his face, and I was like, "Oh, cut!
Well,
I
I
get
sent
that
you-
you're excited."
There's that still of it with him doing that, and then the captions make a wish.
And I don't know if
I
you've seen
sent you
that, but
it. I sent you it.
it was-
Could you stop laughing when I
like-
saw it?
watching it live, I was so excited for him, and it was obvious he was having fun, and he loves wrestling, and he was
Aye.
obviously excited to be back. But looking back on it, I'm like, Dean and Seth are just ready to get in there and roll their fucking sleeves up, and Kurt's just like, "Guys, I'm back. Look at me." I'm
Look
like,
at this, lads. Look at this, I'm a real boy.
Aye, it was great though. Like,
Was just, just a damn fun match.
it was.
And as I was saying earlier this week, it's like the writers just went, "Do you know what's great? What? Bath salts. Let's do them." And then you had the
Put
whole
on the sword.
Strowman through a stage, then getting up, then getting piled on with ladders, then getting up, then being put in a bin lorry to be driven away and crushed and left for dead. It was great. It's exactly the WWE style at its best, which some people will probably complain about. But you know what? You want real wrestling? There's 100 different options out there now.
Aye. Like, if I love
You're not
when
watching real
WWE
wrestling. You're watching a jumped-up entertainment stunt show right now.
And that's the thing, is people like, it wasn't even a real match, and I was like, you had your real match.
Aye, you had AJ and Finn.
That was your real wrestling match. It was like TLC matches are always a spot fest, always, and they should be, because that's the joy of them. See people do crazy athletic things for the love.
Yep.
I have no issue with it. Like,
I had a great time, and that's all that matters.
Kirsty, we still have to thank Matt for the drinks, because otherwise we would have fallen asleep in the other matches long ago.
That's very true. Shout out to Tambo.
Cheers.
Although I said to Tambo, it was like, so he said something about Jack or something, and I was like, I'm always up for getting drunk, and then I realised I'm really going to regret saying that.
Oh yeah.
Really going to regret saying that come Survival Series.
Maybe we should put a ban on it for when the shows go over 4 hours.
I don't know, because
Survivor Series weekend's pretty packed for me, because obviously we've got NXT War Games.
That being televised?
It's on the network.
That's
the one you're thinking of is Starrcade.
Yeah.
So we've got War Games on the Saturday. The next night is ICW's big night, Fear and Loathing, 11 or whatever it is. Or is it 10 or 11? I can't even remember. I don't give a fuck. And then Survivor Series.
So you having another SummerSlam moment where you're going to be trying to get home and then...
No, I'm just not going to be able to get stay in a hotel.
Oh, I see.
So I'll be lucky if... Yes, I'm an opulent swine. Basically, my bandwidth for the hotel room is going to be to watch Survivor Series on the laptop. So I won't be able to join in with this. I'll just need to give you my predictions before the show goes on and then get it out of the way.
Hopefully they don't change them last minute again.
Well, at least I'll be able to do it before the show starts, you know. There's going to be like an hour between, or a couple hours between ICW ending. In fact, 1 hour, because then we'll have the kick-off show at 12.
Unless they do like a 2 hour fucking kick-off, because it's one of the big...
they could very well do that.
Please.
Well, the good thing about that is I can find out then if the bandwidth will support me both recording with you guys and watching. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
What else happened this week that really got you interested? Should we address Naya, and it turns out the real reason she came up with the bright plan to go AWOL?
Who went AWOL?
Well, Naya the other week, remember?
Aye.
Right, so they said she walked out because she was unhappy with the booking. Then they had, because she was put on the spot, Alexa saying she was, drained from the road and blah, blah, blah. Which, the more I think about it, the more it seems to be Alexa thinking on her feet, and well done to her. Protected her pal, protected the company, everybody comes out looking fine.
And that's why she's your champion.
Yes. And then just yesterday, or earlier, or was it this morning? Anyway, one of them, the story came out on Sports Illustrated's website that she actually spoke to The Rock about it, and his advice to her was, if you're unhappy when you're booking, walk.
Mm-hmm. And it worked.
I mean, not everybody's in that position. Let's be honest. I mean, her family's well looked after by Rock, as they should be.
Aye. When you're the number one box office attraction.
Well, exactly.
In the world.
And it's a big family he has, and he keeps his eye on them, and obviously he's really close to her as well, and Tamina for that matter. So she's lucky in that she can just talk to him. He can get her extra work or stunt work or whatever. She can take a bump. It doesn't need to look good because of editing in films, And she has alternatives, and she's got a unique look.
Her plus size modelling before she came into WWE was huge. Apparently she.
She did quite well for herself.
Quite a lot of money after that.
Have you actually seen the pictures of any of the work? She does look good. And Oh, she's got a shape to her.
Aye, she
But-
doesn't need wrestling, so she's
Yeah,
not happy.
exactly. This
She
is
doesn't need
something
to sit
she got into because the family were involved in it and figured why not.
Mm.
And if she's not happy, she shouldn't have to sit through it. But it's just interesting to see that Rock had.
Aye, but I
Don't care
wasn't
about it.
surprised. Like, if your cousin was The Rock and you were unhappy and you didn't know what to do, he'd be the first person I would phone to. Like,
Oh,
what do
definitely.
I do
Aye.
in this situation? So, good on her for, like, at least she didn't just up and leave and, like, without talking to anybody and without taking advice. Like, she'd
Mhm.
obviously sat for a while and thought.
Aye, she's thought about this. What does annoy me though is you've got your smarks online saying, "Oh, she's a mark for herself."
Oh,
Aye, it's been a mark for yourself, wondering why the fuck your storyline's been abandoned for no reason in the middle of it.
aye. Like, I don't blame her with, like, the whole Alexa stuff. Like, 1 minute they're pals and then she's fucking. Then we think we're getting somewhere and then the next week they're pals again. Like,
Aye,
what?
exactly. It doesn't make sense. It's just
And
laziness. And she must just feel like an afterthought. And that's not being a mark for yourself. That's just, you're there to do a
protecting
job.
yourself, aye.
You're wasting your time. You're wasting their time. If they're not doing anything with you.
Seth had said in an interview recently, like, this does tie in, that between like Mania and him and Dean getting back, like, doing that storyline, he felt as if he had nothing to sink his teeth
Aye.
into. And see, as a storytelling performer, that must be the most frustrating thing, that when you're out there every week but you've not got a fucking clue what story you're meant to be telling, how
Mhm.
can you do your job properly if you don't have any?
Aye.
Yeah.
It must be the same for her, and obviously Neville as well. Neville said that he felt as if he was there just to get.
Aye, make up the numbers more or less.
Yep.
And he's happy that he's walked. So
Oh, definitely. Aye.
We can assume that they wouldn't have done anything with him if the cruiserweight division would have been better as it is right now. So
Aye.
he was just used.
Pretty much.
and the thing is,
good on him.
they didn't have they did not have a clue what they were doing with Neville until he went into the cruiserweights, and that should have been the point where they went, right, you're the star of this division, let's blow you up. And
Well, that's what we thought they were going to do, and
Aye.
he didn't, even though he was doing the best work of his career.
Take that gimmick, like his character, and just change. Like, he's not the king of the cruiserweights anymore, but he can be like the king of wrestling or something, and he can take that exact character and take it across the world.
Oh,
It's
aye.
great, and
Absolutely.
loads of companies will happily take him.
I mean, like the next logic thing WWE could have done was push him in the Intercontinental title picture,
Yep.
and then he can call himself the King of the Continent or something
Yeah,
like that.
Exactly.
But
And
no.
Neville would be believable enough that once Brock's out of the way, you could see him in the main event.
Oh God,
Like,
aye.
we're led to believe that with his moves, he could outsmart someone or get the jump on them and win the world belt.
If Rey Mysterio could do it, then so can Neville.
Aye, but it took the death of Rey's pal,
Oh.
and it took Chavo Guerrero knocking back the world belt. Imagine he took that. Like, even Chavo knows he's not worth a world title.
Yeah, I always liked Chavo, but again, he might not be. Like, I like him, but I couldn't see him as. I mean, Jinder's currently world champion, and I'd take Chavo at him any day.
Of course.
But like, it's no saying much. But Neville is great, and I'm excited to see back on the Indies whenever it happens.
Sooner the better. But
Aye.
of course, it'll probably be next year with the 90-day no compete.
Yeah.
So
Most
unless
likely.
there's some televised events and he kind of wants to keep sharp, I don't think we're going to be seeing him or announcing anything anytime soon. There's a lot of talk about Ricochet's finally going to WWE because he's not taking any dates from January onwards
Aye.
in the Indies.
And I don't think he should. I think he should
No,
talk
neither
to
do I.
Neville long and hard,
I
because
think
that's the
Ricochet
level
will
he's
be
on.
lost in the shuffle and they will take everything that makes him entertaining away from.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been over this before. I don't really like his matches where they're just like synchronised stunt shows. It doesn't do it for me. Does it for plenty of other people.
It's just a no selling that annoys me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't want to see two people doing cartwheels. It's no Cirque du fucking Soleil. It's wrestling. Give me my fake fighting. But anyway,
And I enjoy his matches with Jack Sabre Jr. to some extent, but when it goes on for too long and they're still jumping all over the place, it's just not believable
It
anymore.
doesn't do it for me at all. They really
love
don't.
me some Ricochet.
No, Ricochet, no harm to him. His work as Prince Puma, especially, was fantastic. But like I was just saying with the Zack Sabre Jr. stunt show thing, it's not what I want to see.
Fair enough. It's different.
And he's not going to get
different
to
strokes
do
for different folk.
anything unique or expressive
No. And
because he's stuck with the corporate machine.
But I suppose he can go and make himself a chunk of change and then leave if he wants to. So
he's probably making more money in the indies, to be honest.
Probably. I think people forget at the moment that for whatever reason, indie wrestling is making money like chunks and chunks.
Well, it's
of
more
change.
because people are self-promoting using Twitter and such.
Aye, like the internet
That's where they're
has
getting the
been-
cash.
The boom for like wrestling online is insane, and I kind of love it because there's
Well,
no
it means we
excuse
get to do
anymore.
this.
Aye, that's very true. But
Yeah.
there was something else on Raw that had pissed me
The
off.
Smackdown
before we
invasion.
That
I was
pissed
just
me
going
off.
to get to that next, actually.
I can't think what it was, but so I will talk about the Smackdown invasion now.
I really don't know what I thought of that. What do you guys make of it?
I think that they don't want anybody to be thinking about the Bullet Club invasion, so they done their own. That's genuinely what I think. I mean, I always like when they did the Raw versus. That's what it was. All the matches for
Survivor Series.
Survival Series, thank you. They're all, apart from one, they're all heel versus heel.
Yep,
It shows
it's going to
how-
change.
It just shows how faceless the rosters really are. They're all heel champions.
But that whole card will change. They'll not do that.
I mean, how exciting is the Miz versus Baron Corbin looking, guys?
Ugh. Why did you have to remind me of that? You've made me sick, Kirsty.
I had a
You
moment
actually-
you said WWE made you sad.
Aye, but you made me sad by reminding me that they... I'm sad now. You happy? You happy that I'm sad?
No, I'm not, because I'm sad too. Like,
So
excited
tell me
for-
this. Tell me
Yes,
this,
yes.
right? Sadness aside, and this is an important question.
hmm
What you got to rant about?
my rant was going to be about Finn and that, but because I'm very not happy right now, that I
You're not
don't
in
have
the
energy, I'm just like, it's
We'll
shit.
save it. We'll save it.
Awesome.
That can be next week, right?
I
We're just saying the entire time Ring of Honor is shit, but I don't think that's going to work this week.
No, and she's probably just as well that he's ill.
It's a chill one because Will's not constantly poking the fucking
I
bell.
know it's just not the same, is it?
Yeah.
He'll probably just chime in with something at one point and just fucking make me lose my mind.
I'm actually surprised he's not done it already. He's probably passed out, and this will keep recording after we're long gone.
Well, this is your cue.
We'll get on my phone once we're
Let's hear your sexy voice.
Bullet Club shite.
What? You can't even talk. You're going to come in and be like, Bullet Club sucks, and then just leave again? Fucking drive-by insult?
Like in Family Guy. I say, that's the feller.
But, what's the deal with all the heels? Like,
So he
surely
turned
we
into
don't
Jerry
think-
Seinfeld now. What's the deal with all the heels?
Also, like, before we get to the end, fucking Paul Heyman just saying what everybody was thinking, just being an absolute god. And I'm not a Brock Lesnar Gatlet fan. I'm done with him being champion. But on what conceivable land can Jinder take on? Like, he won't even take on AJ at this point.
It's so stupid to have him lay down a challenge and then run away for everyone.
It's
There's no
ridiculous.
consistency. I said this the other week. There's just no
Kirsty.
consistency in the booking.
And they're not going to. Yes.
The
sorry,
thing
Paul.
about this that Paul said, but what everyone of the fans think about Jinder is because they are using all of this in any promo right now. Because think about when Sammy did his first heel promo on SmackDown. He said exactly what was holding him back as a face.
Yep.
Like, you didn't give me opportunities, and what every fan said to WWE, and they ignored it. And then when he turned heel, they used it in a promo, and now they're using it against Jinder in a promo.
But the thing is, I listened to, oh god, what was it I listened to? I listened to something with Paul Heyman, as you do when you see something with Paul Heyman in
Of
it, and
course.
Paul always said that you should never bury your opponent, because if you
It
beat
makes you
them,
look like shit.
if you beat them, then who did you beat? But if they beat you, what does that make you? But for some reason with Jinder, he just threw his own rule book out the window and he was like, no, you're shite, you're really shit, and we all know you, and this is hysterical. But he done it in a much more Paul Heyman way. But
Of course.
it was really interesting because it was quite recently, I listened to that about 3-4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him just chuck out his own rule book, I was
Just
like,
bury the cunt.
he's like, I'll just bury him, it means nothing.
Actually, that should be the name of your re-rant segment. Bury the cunt.
I like it. I like it.
You hear that, Will? We need
Bury
more
the cunt.
swearing on this podcast where I swear only every other minute. Second.
Every other word, Martin.
I would try and say fuck, but it sounds like I'm fucking choking this microphone again.
Yeah, you're choking and chicken.
It sounds like your throat is so sore that it almost sounds like you're putting it on. We know you'll know, but it sounds like a wee Wayne that's trying to get the day off school.
I've got the black lung pop.
Oh my god.
like his voice tries to escape.
We love you, sorry.
Oh, yeah, everybody gets one.
By the
I've
way.
been good behaviour this week because I'm filling in for Will. I'm
Right.
sorry for people who were expecting ranting and swearing. I've had a long day and, I need to try and guide this bizarre conversation through as it is. I'm not even addressed Smackdown yet.
I know.
I do like, we'll get into that then, Kevin Sammy not having anything to do with that invasion.
Oh, it was so good because I was sitting looking, going, who's actually there? Sammy wasn't there. Kevin
So they
wasn't
stuck
there.
Big E down the front and Nakamura up the back. What the fuck?
It was so don't get me wrong, see Kurt's wee half terrified face, we have
Oh no!
jog away.
Like, should he smile or should he vomit?
It looked, but see, as soon as Shane came in and he was like hashtag under siege, I was like, something is like, know how just after so long of being
Sorry.
I know. Just after so long of being a WWE fan, when they drop certain words in a certain way that something's going on.
Aye.
And he was like, I was like, who still says hashtag? But hashtag under siege, and I was like, something's happening here. And then lo and behold,
Aye.
Natty's filling up fucking Zack Ryder.
Oh, that was funny.
His face was amazing.
Because a real girl's touched my penis. This is the first time ever. The action figures will never believe that. Sorry.
What do you do? I get that, because obviously watching it, she was shoving her way through and it was made to look badass. And it's obviously been, but she's full fucking cupped him at that point.
Aye.
What do you do if you're Zack Ryder other than just keep your hands off her?
I'll tell you what you do. Right? Bear in mind her husband's a cripple. You push into it.
But he's got to his hands because if he'd have tried to touch her and move her away, then the internet would have blew up, because this can be seen as an accident and Natty will be greeting somewhere about something.
Natty will be telling TJ that. That's what I mean. You copy boss. Honest.
I can't believe I didn't even see it. That picture was making the rounds, and I was like,
I
my
know,
god,
it was
Natty.
so funny.
Oh.
What did you think of it, Flo?
Oh, I loved it.
It was fun.
But it's weird because it was pretty heelish, so I don't know
The
really.
entire roster turned heel.
I know. I know.
Only for them all to go back to normal. Then part of me likes it, because if you're watching Raw, then SmackDown are the heels. Whereas if you're on SmackDown and
Raw's
you're
the
SmackDown, Raw's the heels. I kind of like that they done it, but it was really jarring to
Yes.
see all these because the thing is what they've done with Survivor Series and having this Raw versus SmackDown is they're still building all these other storylines,
Mhm.
but they're gone nowhere. They're going
Aye.
absolutely nowhere at the moment, so it's just really, it doesn't make sense that they're all meant to be banding together, but then, like,
Aye,
Dolph
they've got these
Ziggler
feuds.
promo is the perfect example of it. Like, it's just really jarring. Like, you can't be telling 5 different storylines at one time.
Aye, with the same people.
Mhm.
I know.
Aye,
Yeah, just one thing I wanted to mention: Bobby Roode's part of the invasion, pointing to a TV and going, "Look," it's
says
Raw. And then gently shoving it over so that
Wee
it didn't
Chad.
break.
Chad
also-
fucking Gable just going straight for Jason
Aye.
Jordan broke my
You
heart. I was
stole
like,
my
Chad,
da! You stole my da!
you stole my gimmick, you dick.
What I-
Honest
what I
to God.
What I also found funny is when Dean and Seth jumped on on them,
They
and
were
then
like, fuck it, we'll
there,
do
there,
shield
wa-
bra.
there was a short moment where you could see Shinsuke, and then the entire crowd Nakamura was chanting. I was like, wait, you only see him for a second and chant immediately. What the fuck is going on?
Hashtag over his foot.
Aye, well, if only you get the fucking stuff he deserved at it. That's a complaint
Also,
for another day and
aye.
every week.
Fucking, they're doing the same with Asuka the noodle. Like,
Aye.
she is getting less and less air every time they've put her on telly, and she's only been on telly
Twice.
And you can palpably see when she comes out, everybody's like, yes! And then by the end of the match, everybody's like, yay, that wasn't what we expected.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes me sad. Very
It's
sad.
bizarre. We'll see how it goes over the next month or so.
I'm trying to think of also Chad Gable just kicking a light for the sake of it. That made me chat
Legend.
myself.
Legend.
But I couldn't believe
Oh no.
Cut off.
Yep.
that. I was like, oh no, Chad's there.
Okay.
And then I just seen
And she
Chad,
keeps going.
like, Chad just ended on good terms.
Are you doing this deliberately? Chad just
No.
went, and it ended on good terms.
No. Sorry, am I cutting in and out again? This
Yes,
fucking
you are.
Sorry, guys. Chad just ran at Jason, and I did not appreciate the fact that he just took. Because even the Usos mentioned it on SmackDown. They were like,
Aye.
that was his ex-partner.
Aye.
And he just mauled him. I was like, thank you, Jimmy or Jay. I'm not sure what one it was because it was audio. But, like, what a wee savage. I was so not happy.
It was great.
And Jason
really enjoyed
Jordan's
it.
arm with Elias as well. His
Yeah.
fucking arm.
Let's
Like-
not discuss Elias because
Aye,
this
listen,
podcast is, or YouTube show, whatever you want to call it now, is drawn to a close. But Elias is like an hour-long rant in and of itself,
True. So, aye,
Yeah.
SmackDown.
and that's all I want to
Sammy.
say about Elias right now. Next week, when Will can talk and I can put my energy into violence, we'll talk about fucking Elias.
Okay. So, Sammy being a smug heel.
Fucking love it.
I love Sammy right now.
Mhm.
I love
It-
that he's coming out and taking the piss out his own entrance. I
It's
love
like
everything.
when Spidey got the Venom suit, he went from wisecracking, cheeky prick to wanker.
Aye, he's a pure arsehole.
Aye,
And I love
exactly.
it.
It's fantastic.
Like, him coming out and going, they had feelings though, right? I was like, Sammy, you're going to get punched in the face.
And the crowd's going to go mental for it.
Oh,
Well, because the punched in the face is the wrong word for a low blow from Randy this week.
See, I thought that they were going to have Kevin and Sammy on the SmackDown team because SmackDown won last year, so I'm assuming Raw's
Mhm.
winning this year. And I thought that it's Sammy and Kevin
Oh,
because
that's not really how it works. When they did bragging rights, SmackDown won 2 years in a row.
I mean, true, but apparently Sammy and Kevin are meant to be going to Raw,
No.
like away from Shane.
For fuck's
Why?
sake.
I don't know.
Why?
It's what I've been reading. So my
We'll
thought
see what
process
happens.
behind that was they're going to cost Raw the match. They're going to give Raw
SmackDown,
the
aye.
match, and they're going to take them to Raw. So, but then Sammy isn't in the match. So I'm like, is Kevin going to be in the match and Sammy's going to help, or are they just not going to be there but just come out and cost them the match anyway?
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see
So-
what happens over the next few weeks if they tease it or whatever.
But I'm pretty sure that the Raw women are going to lose because of the infighting between Sasha and Alicia.
Alicia on this week was amazing, by the way.
I've been saying this the whole time.
Look, that shadow
there.
play was beautiful.
Oh, I know. She's great. She's
Her
never had a
character's
chance.
great.
For once, creative had a good idea for a spot.
And she's making a real good go of this as well.
Aye.
Much like Emma has this week.
You've just
she
got
really
to take your
stepped up in those
chances while
matches.
they're there.
Exactly. I'm glad to see them going for it. I mean, chances are with how WWE books things right now, it's not going to really do much for them, but good on them. Thank you for entertaining us.
But
The
please,
only thing that annoyed me was she's been complaining about not having a t-shirt. She did have a t-shirt. This week she had her t-shirt on and didn't mention it. I was
But
like...
do you know what the thing is, though? I don't think they told her when they were releasing it, because they released it the Thursday before she started that on Raw.
it feels very...
It's very disconnected. This is the problem when it's like a big corporate thing with merchandise before the actual product.
Had done this a few times, because sure, Enzo's meant to be changing that belt here, but about a month ago, they put up a pre-order to order that left mind I said, the leopard print cruiserweight belt. So it's like one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing.
Well, that's the problem with it. I mean, like, New Japan have got the right idea in that the product comes first, the merchandise spins out it.
As it should.
It should work.
I don't want to see Enzo's belt a month before he's even got his in.
This is not something like Power Rangers where you need to promote the toys all the time.
But that's what it's become, because they make so much merch money. All about making the games and the toys the main thing, because they make so much off it.
Yep.
Especially with the network being a thing, they make less in that area, because pay-per-views obviously went way down. Since most people aren't stupid enough.
Reasons.
I was saying this the other day. Do you remember when you had to consciously make the decision to phone up to buy a pay-per-view, and they had to
I'll tell you a horrible story. Now, I don't know if you knew about these folk, but see, for a while, late 90s, early 2000s, we got exclusive pay-per-views that were in the UK, and they were shown live on Sky Box Office.
Oh.
So they charged them like...
third or fourth one we got free.
No, even. It was just... They had like 2 a year, and they charged like £14 or £15 for it. Right? There was one year, I can't remember what one it was, but it was when Foley was commissioner. And the card they announced was fucking amazing. And I wish I could remember what the announced card was. Anyway, basically it was like one of the big 4 pay-per-view kind of quality. Right? Couldn't believe the matches that are seen. Like, all the big names are there. Matches people have been dying to see for ages. Dream matches, blah, blah, blah. All built up like fuck. And then the show started. Right? And Mick introduced Robo Linda, who then decided, let's change all the matches on this card. And her and Mick proceeded to rebook it as a very, very bad B-level house show. They stole my money.
Aye.
And then, of course, when people were complaining, like they would phone up and complain, phone Sky and press complaints and blah, blah, blah. And do you know what the thing was? Unlike every other pay-per-view they'd run exclusively there, this one in fairly good sized white letters on the bottom of the screen said, card subject to change.
They knew what they were doing. They were selling the pay-per-view, and then...
They were selling a pay-per-view with top quality stuff, even teasing title changes. And then after, like, you got 10 minutes of the show for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had all these backstage segments, and after the 10 minutes was up, they announced to change everything. So you couldn't get your fucking money back.
Wow.
Aye, it was some shady shit. I thought you were talking about around about 2009 they started.
No.
What a fucking scam.
4 pay-per-views. It was every third or fourth one, basically.
Aye, that's how they introduced Pain for SummerSlam and Mania and all
that. Aye, look, we got them. Like, here you'd get them on like Sky One.
Like Sky Sports. It started on Sky One, then when they introduced Sky Sports, they put them on that. So every pay-per-view was free here. Well, not free, it was part of your subscription. And then a few years, they changed the deal. And then it was like, you'd get 2 shows. Like, it would be like Royal Rumble, then whatever the next one is, then you need to pay for WrestleMania in the box office. Then 2 shows, then pay for the next one, 2 shows, blah, blah, blah. And of course, this coincided with WWE having about 16 pay-per-views a year.
Aye.
They knew what they were fucking doing. Anyway, aye, rat bastards. That's my story for you. Anything else I've missed?
Fashion Files.
I missed it this week. I literally missed it.
Oh, no way.
Was it good?
What?
It was good.
Fashion. What? I can't remember the name. Was this Fashion Danger?
No, it was Fashion Dog. It was Reservoir Dog.
Oh man, I need to look this up now. I'll watch it when we're finished here.
I only remember something with D. So.
Good job.
To be fair, it's not his first language. Like, we'll give him a break.
That's what I'm saying. It's a good job.
It's not. It's not about the language. It's just about my brain not working.
I'm giving you an excuse, Flo. Take it.
That's a bad excuse.
I think we should just shut this down.
But it was quite funny this week, but I'll not spoil it for you.
No, I'll watch it once we're finished. Speaking of, I think that's the main topics. Forgive me, I've done no prep. I didn't know Will wasn't well until 5 minutes before we came on. So I think we've done well considering.
I think we've covered all the main.
Aye.
We'll
Sorry,
go
it's no
back and then
constant
5 minutes.
source of sweary hilarity this week, but you know, I was trying to be a grown up.
It's a welcome change. I'm not leaving with my blood pressure like fucking 100/90.
That means I've not done my job.
And I think you said just a little about the title change this weekend, but
Do we need
What time?
to?
What happened?
our title.
Oh, well, I did introduce you as the champion, so.
That's why I said just a little.
Well,
Winning by 1 point.
that was close, but I'll have my belt back one day. Just enjoy the fact you're not a paper champion like that flu-ridden or AIDS-ridden or whatever it is scumbag who can't talk to defend himself, so I'm taking advantage.
Terrible, Marty. Terrible.
Oh, like, why aren't you doing it? Here we
I'm
go.
going to enjoy this for some time, just to see.
First ever German champion. Last ever German champion as well. I'll have that back. Vince screwed me. Screwed me.
Still screwing you.
Yes,
Oh, lad.
actively. Old man bits. Just
Don't. I don't want to think about that.
It's always your excuse, and it's a bad one too, Martin.
Martin! Stop it!
Martin, stop.
It's so nasty. You don't get to give us that image and then give us sound effect. Don't do it.
It's this testing sound.
I could be honest, I could have had it.
Don't.
No, that's my thing.
Was that you, Vince? Vince, aka Satan?
Accurate.
I'm Vince McMahon and I love titties. That's my Vince impression for this week.
It's beautiful.
Titties!
Yay.
Right, guys, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting week. We'll see what comes up with Survivor Series on the horizon. And no doubt some kind of Raw revenge on Smackdown at some point. Next week, Will should have his voice back, barring any last-minute complications from HIV. And I'll be back to my sweary self. And Kirsty will have blood pressure higher than any other human ever on record, while Flo just sits smugly taunting everyone with his gold.
Of course.
Kind of wish you were Dutch so you could go, I love gold! Oh, look at my gold!
Sorry for not being a leprechaun.
No, they like pots and gold, not just actual gold. I love gold! You've not seen Austin Powers.
Yes.
I know
Oh,
you have. Dutch love gold. They love gold. Right, aye, let's finish this. So, I've been your host, the very out of his depth, not sweary Martin.
And I've been Kirsty.
And I've been your current reigning German champion, and this title is going to stay with me for a long time.
Yeah, we'll see about that, sunshine. Thank you for listening, folks. Have yourselves a nice week. We'll be back to normal next week with lots of fuckity fuck. Swearing. I mean swearing. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.